And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing Transport Fever. Well, we set out a goal in this series to modernize Westeros. And modernize it we have. We have got trains running the width and breadth of this little country. And we've got airplanes shuttling goods back and forth. I pretty much, I talked to the citizens, and none of them felt comfortable riding in these very strange contraptions that flew through the air. So none of them would actually ride a plane back and forth somewhere. So we used them for goods instead. Now, it's a pretty inefficient way of moving material. There are delays, there are issues with throughput, and with that, it's for small cities or a wide open area, it's a pretty good solution. But if you're trying to, feed a city of 3,800, they're requesting 1,000 food. You're really going to have a hard time pushing that much food, or pushing that much construction material, or what have you. But for smaller areas, for smaller cities, it's definitely worthwhile. So, I've been racking my brain to figure out what to do for a new series. And I had a thought. I haven't done a hardcore Uber production sort of series yet. And that's one of the things I like to do with games like this, is set up an environment that is almost like perfect. It's a good test environment. And then see just how many materials I can ship. Because if we look at any one of these factories, you can see this one is upgraded a couple times already. It starts at 800, then it upgrades to 1600, then it upgrades to 3200, then it upgrades to 6400, and after this, there's yet another upgrade to 12,800. And there have been a couple games where I've gotten the building to upgrade to that point, but I've never actually pushed production to that point. I don't even know if it's physically possible to move that much material out of a factory. I mean, that is a lot of material. And we'd need several cities that are gigantic in order to even try that. If you remember in my Metropolis series, we got Indianapolis very, very large. We got it up to 10,000 people. And at that point, it's requesting like 2,500 of each of the goods that it wants. But 12,800 is more, and you would need several cities, very large cities, in order to push that much production. So I've got a map that I set up, that I put some cities on. It's a completely barren, flat map, completely flat, and it's a sort of test bed. And the other issue, and as I was thinking about this, the other issue is goods themselves. It quickly becomes, when the city grows large enough, it quickly becomes a problem. Even if you have a station, embedded into, a city, late game, it becomes a problem of moving the thousands of materials that you need, because you get a box car, a state car, a tank car, and what's the other one? Box car, state car, tank car, gondola. You get a gondola, and you get the versions of those you get in about the 1950s, and you never get new ones. You never get ones that are better. You never get ones that can haul more. And so you're stuck with trains that can only haul, 200 to 300 materials. So one of the things I did is I went in and I created a mod, and it's a very simple mod. It adds a late game version of the all of the cargo, as well as a late game truck, because these are modified. These are the vanilla trucks modified to hold 50 materials. And as I've seen, especially in our last series, that alone isn't even enough, 50 materials. So part of the mod is a late game truck. Let's see if I can find a depot here. I'll pull it up. Oh, there's some vehicles to sell in here. Awesome. Those have just been sitting in there. So the late game truck is the HH Flexible 500. HH stands for heavy hauling, which is the name of the mod that I did. And let me know if you are interested in the mod. I will try to get it uploaded to the workshop if anybody out there is interested in this. But these are pretty extreme circumstances, and part of my play style is is sort of pushing the game to its limits, and that might not be your play style. So the HH Flexible 500 holds 100 items. It costs $3 million, over double what the Freightliner was. So it's $3 million, but it's not too much per year. 30,000 a year, and I know these are 6,000 a year, but these are 51,000. So this Freightliner, actually, this is an edited value. This would actually be probably in the 70 to 80,000 to run that truck. But this one, I set at 30,000 a year, and it's $3 million. So that holds 100 things. So if I need to move stuff around inside of a city, I have a late game truck that can move a substantial amount. Now for the train segment of the mod, we have wagons, and I didn't do any carriages because we have the flirts for late game people moving, and as such we have, you see the gondola? Well, there's an HH gondola, and that is again heavy hauling, and that holds 50 material. So you have this poor gondola here that gets unlocked in 1955, and that's it, 18 material. And this one here, 1978, only holds 13 material. So there's one here, unlocks in year 2000, that holds 50 material. And so there's, going down the line here, it's the same. The HH tank holds 50, gets unlocked in 2000. The boxcar holds 50, gets unlocked in 2000. And the running costs, they're actually pretty expensive. I made them pretty expensive because that late in the game, money really isn't an issue. So they're $4 million to start, which is pretty considerable, and they're 50,000 a year running cost. So we're gonna set that aside. And finally, the state car. So you have the HH state car that holds 50 and the same stats all the way down. And also their top speeds are pretty excessive. The other thing I did is re-edit the NSB mod because I was doing some tests in another save. And sure enough, any time you have a train delivering goods and that train goes faster than this 199 miles an hour, or set in the data files to 320, which is kilometers an hour. So anytime you have a train that's going more than 320, it's gonna break it. So if both of these trains on this line, if both of these were to have that old gray engine that can go 1,000 miles an hour, This thing here would no longer deliver food to this station. It would break that line for some reason. So what I did was went in. So the NSB, the red version, is the one that unlocks first, and this has the exact same stats as I've been using all along. And then I edited the 18, the gray model, to be 199, but have substantially more power and tractive effort. And so that model here is supposed to go towards those big trains that are hauling 50 material per car. I don't know what the reaction of the train is going to be. I don't know if the cargo in the train is in calculation, for how much the train weighs combined. I haven't dove into the data that closely. So yeah, that mod is geared towards the new series to try to max production on as many processing plants, chemical plants. Try to get all of the resources, all of these in here. Try to max a factory with all of those, and have several cities. Later in the game, it's going to be pretty much a lag fest. But I think, using the pause feature while I build stuff, and just letting it run on its own, and maybe the developers will release a new version that is a little bit more optimized than this one, but we can only hope for that. So yeah, this map is pretty well done. There's always something to do. There's always little bits and pieces that we can do. I mean, look at all the cows. We got so many cows right here, and we're not able to move them fast enough. I mean, the trucks are great, but wow, they just have a hard time moving all of those cows to keep up with the demand that this thing wants to put out. So yeah, we're gonna try to create a crazy system of vehicles that are not only growing cities. I also went into the data files and I edited the cities. Normally a city, if you go to the game directory, and normally a city can only grow to about 10 square kilometers. And I don't know how that relates to game size, but we're getting close to the limit here. So I went in and edited it to be max 3 times larger than default. So we should be able to grow cities considerably larger than you can normally in a vanilla game. And that's just in hopes of getting, a city large enough where we can really push a lot of materials in. And if you're not interested in a series like that, it's going to be probably a short run series. I'm kind of gearing up and getting mentally ready to replace Transport Fever with another game. And if you have game suggestions, let me know. I always look into game suggestions. But the one game that I'm looking at replacing this time slot with is Ark, with the dinosaurs, but a modded Ark that will allow me to not grind as much. That's the big hope with that. But before I do that, I kind of want to do some max production sort of play testing with the game, because I do enjoy just maxing everything out and seeing if we can't get some interesting behavior with the game, and just see how big we can make an area and cities and all that kind of stuff. So that's my plan for that. If you're if you're a fan of Ark, let me know. If you'd rather me play something else, let me know. You know, I'm trying to keep the content fresh on the site, and Transport Fever has been out a while, and I have played the heck out of this game. I've had a blast doing it, but if it's getting kind of stale, which I think it is, then I want to move on to something else. And while Ark has been out for some time, quite some time, I'm not familiar with it at all, and it looks like a very fun survival, crafting, and exploration game. It looks like it has just so many hours of enjoyment that can be had with it. So I really want to dive into that game. So look for a short series for Transport Fever using that new map, which will kick off tomorrow, and try to work up the cities quickly. I'm gonna actually start it in 1950, just to get a boost into some of the later game elements, and we will take it from there. So yeah, those are the big plans for this series, for the next series, and even the series after that. So again, if you have game ideas that fit with the theme of the channel, flexible games, or if you really want to see me fail spectacularly at dinosaurs, let me know too if you're interested in a series about Ark. It's a pretty big investment. I don't have a very large gaming budget. Basically, I've been able to afford some new games over the last couple months because of my Patreon. And, anybody out there who enjoys my content, consider doing a Patreon. $1 a month is plenty. If you can afford it, $1 a month would just make such a huge difference in the channel and allow me to grow the content and all that kind of stuff. So consider that. If not, that's okay too. But as always, like the videos that you like. Comment on as many videos as you wish. I don't try to encourage that very often. I don't really request a whole lot of likes and subs and all that kind of stuff, because I know people are familiar with YouTube enough to know how it works. Likes help the channel, comments help the channel, and everything is kind of grown off of that. So if you think that the channel deserves more subscribers, start hitting that like button on the videos that you watch, and that will go a long ways. That will go a long ways. And this map here, for a map download, there is a Patreon reward level. Any Patreons get access to map downloads, regardless of level that you wish to donate at. So this will be uploaded to the Patreon, the Google Drive that I have linked for Patreons. So if you want the map download, you gotta go above and beyond, because it's a big file. It takes a long time to upload some of these maps, and I really wanted to give some incentive to maybe get a little bit of people interested in Patreon. So we're just gonna set up these here. King's Landing downtown. Oh, this one replaced already. Oh, Zataro G is already. Oh, this one I just did. I have a couple of these vehicles. Okay. Okay, so that one's done. How about this one? Construction material. Okay. Orange. I'm gonna do my Freightliner. There we go. All right. Well, that is a huge window of information. So, you know, absorb it, comment on it, let me know. Feedback is always appreciated. I read every comment. I may not respond to every comment, but I read every single one of them. So that'll do it for this episode. I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.